Everybody go to the Discotheque. This is Taylor Glover here, and I'm reacting to the Super Discotheque panel. And they're not gonna announce much. I've already heard from Just Fox. They're not gonna announce much, but there's one megaton announcement, and they're probably gonna say for last. And I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a big NTV license. Oh boy. And I'm gonna be excited. It's like a big NTV license. They're already done Hajime no Ippo. The other big NTV licenses that Discotek could do is like either Berserk 1997 or Monster. If one would like to have English dub, that would be Rainbow. That could go to Sentai. Pizza got the worst freaking luck with it. That matter to me. Alright, 3 minutes left. Alright. Because Sentai got a big NTV license just recently, like last month. That was Nana. You mean the Josei anime. But it is really big for Sentai to get it, and could be streaming on High Dive soon. Could be coming to Blu-Ray soon. Alright. I'm looking for the comments. Persona re-release. Mini anime, I believe all the Persona anime were produced by Aniplex. That's like probability to got them cross rise. Fat chance in hell. Alright. Greens up and get your butt in here. I just had to skin Monday Night Raw. Yeah, no, I'm glad to see Bobby Lashley as WWE Champion of all people. Oh man. How is this so easy to get channel points on Twitch? I'm not a very big user of Twitch anyway, so. And you make sure that's alright. The Discotheque nights. Alright, here we go. Look at all the people saying Meisai and Koku. I believe Justin already says in Icing Hell. Nice and pretty here. Alright. Make sure it's 801 right now.
I think the sketchy website I bought this novel from stole all my info. Ooh. Have you looked on the bright side? Discotheque never holds you responsible for unauthorized purchases on your card. That's my turtle. Fraud protection. Discover something brighter.
Alright. Sorry, I was... Oh, there we go. Ray? Okay. I think they know what they're doing. This is not a new trailer, but they're... Yeah, this is the trailer from the last panel. Well, I guess just to listen to one complaint that the trailer spoils some of the announcements. Lots of people say Black Hawk Shooter. Ah, there she is. Nice. Ah. Yeah. I've already heard. My Alex01 is getting a Kickstarter. Bands to live and die in LA. They're a pretty indie band. Oh. Wait, your brother? Alright. This is nice. Dear brother. Jessica. Song released in HD. This is nice. Here we go.
All right. Seems we have a license announcement, folks. I don't know if you noticed. But we are going to be releasing Dear Brother here at Discotheque Media. Soon now. We've got some details. It's coming to Blu-Ray.
Very exciting.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about it, Jess.
It's a 39-episode sub only. It is super melodramatic, basically Rose of Versailles set in an all-girls high school. Lots of cattiness, lots of backstabbing. Really well directed. Just an amazing show. However, you have to remember one important thing. Our license period for this is actually really
Alright.
short compared to normal. I think it's only like a year or two. So, and it's not clear that we will be able to renew it later. So, if you want it, get it quick because it's not going to last very long.
It's going to look incredible in HD, as people on the channel are noting. So I look forward to it, guys.
It's a all-new HD remaster. It looks gorgeous. It'll be on 3 discs.
Wasn't that a surprise too when you got the materials that it was HD?
Yeah, because I didn't know that there was an HD master, but it's it's a brand new transfer. It looks as good as this show could possibly look.
Anyway, welcome to the 1,300 people. My God, good heavens, what time is it? I can't believe what time it is. It is time for another Discotheque Media standalone panel. So welcome to Discotheque Days, guys. And just a quick intro. We're Discotheque Media, and this is our 3rd standalone panel. This will be a little bit shorter. It's largely going to be a license announcement thing. We don't have quite as many this time as we have in the last couple of panels like this. Frankly, we're kind of loading too many license announcements on them. You're gonna discover an awful lot of our plans for this year, but we're gonna reveal some more for you. And just so you know who the phantom voices on the broadcast are, Brady, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. Well, first, even though there's not as many announcements, trust me, they're bang for the buck announcements.
Yeah. There is a big thing that I think a lot of you old heads are going to be pretty excited about.
Yeah, this Dear Brother is not the big announcement we were looking for. That would be like
Cool
last.
stuff. Anyway, I'm Brady Hartle, period, as this diagram says here. I am a producer, I restore video, I work on packaging design, quality control. I pretty much work on like every aspect of things, and it depends on what the release is, what I'm doing on it. Like this says, I do really enjoy a goofy movie, and my Twitter is Brady Hartle, and just my name in lowercase on Twitter.
And I'm Justin Sudeikis, and I'm at World of Crap on Twitter. I author all of the Blu-Rays and do all of the compression and all that good stuff, in addition to producing and some of that good stuff. And lately I've also been producing dub. Well, one dub anyway.
You read documentaries.
I did. And as Mike has so kindly noted, I just moved into a new place, and I have an entire drawer of my kitchen now dedicated to tea.
That is nice. I've been drinking tea lately. It's good for you.
I can't drink coffee. It gives me sense.
I love the smell of coffee, but I don't like the taste.
Yeah, I'm with you guys, tea person.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm actually a minor player compared to you guys in the Discotheque scheme of things, but I'm pretty good at putting on presentations. So every time we do one of these, you have me throw the slides together. I started trying to do a Ray Gun magazine kind of thing, and I couldn't get a booking right, and I couldn't get that same feel. So I went with bad late 90s Apple computer ad, only with the snarky sardonicness of an OK Soda ad for all the these heads.
Yeah, I'm loving the Helvetica and then the italic Times Roman.
Yes. Helvetica header, then Times Roman subheader. Anyway,
Forgive
we
me,
always
I'm
start
just
off by
looking
telling
for
you
this thing
you guys
called
what
Discotheque Production on the
Discotheque
Discotheque
Media
page.
is. We're going to be brief this time. Discotheque Media is a Tyco video publisher, and we specialize in Japanese animation, and that is all. And we're going to try and keep you guys engaged, because there's almost 1,400 of you in here now. Jesus, God.
This gets bigger every time we do it.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Well, fortunately,
It's like people like us or something.
Fortunately, we have another licensing announcement on deck, and this is one of the great candidates. One of the show we just saw the license announcement for is about girls going to school with girls, and this is another one. And here it is. This is
Hey!
Gashi Mashi.
Girl Meets Girl, and this is another one that we rescued from the dustbin, and we're bringing.
And it must be Media Blasters. Media Blasters. They got it from Media
Episodes
Blasters.
of upscaled fun to high definition, and the dubbed version that Media Blasters did back in the day, that's going to be on the disc. And also, notably, this is something people always want to know. Yeah, it's going to have all the bonus features from the Media Blasters release. So unless you're a super duper completist, you can replace your DVDs with this set, and you'll still have everything. And new subtitles, huh? Did either of you guys work on these subs?
Not directly, but we did have someone who is very up on LGBT matters go over it because there was a little bit of like questionable gendering in the original translation, because there are like some fantasy transgender type things going on. We wanted to make sure we got that right. We weren't being insensitive or anything, and we made some tweaks, and I think it's definitely for the better.
That's how Jimmy did it, right? You did a good job.
Yeah, it's actually a fantastic job.
And there's a really fun gag baked into this that someone on the team noticed. And Kashimashi is actually a crossover with Montpellier Nights. It's totally true, and it's in a very interesting way. And it involves Niseiyu Yuko Mizutani. She plays this character here, it's Kokumare, in Montpellier Nights. And the joke is, that she's almost 30 years old. Oh wow, that's an old lady in young lady teacher terms, and she still doesn't have a boyfriend. And there's an interview where Yuko Mizutani is talking to the script supervisor, Satoru Akamori. Akamori is another giant of this medium. He's responsible for basically every 90s action comedy you liked. But there's a theory about this character. Yeah, 29 years without a boyfriend, and Mizutani is into the role, and she's just like, I'm so much into playing this character, and in the next series we're going to sneak in a special update. She's going to be even older, and she's still not going to have a boyfriend. In fact, what about 35 years without a boyfriend? And yeah, it turns out in Kashimashi, you meet this other teacher with the same first name, the same voice actress, 35 years old, never having had a boyfriend. This is like how Detective Munch shows up in a bunch of different shows, like Law and Order SVU and the X-Files.
The Richard Belzer of anime.
Exactly. This is the anime Richard Belzer verse.
I think that
Our eagle-eyed QC manager, Mark, is the one who picked up on this because he actually watched Kashimashi right after Montpellier Nights, and he was like, wait a minute.
Wait a dang minute.
It was like a complete fluke. Like a complete fluke that he had both of those back to back, and then he did this, and he was just like, he saw Into the Matrix, and told us.
And someone was asking, hey, can you post this somewhere so I can remember it? Yeah, this stuff is going to get splashed out. It's too funny not to share. I think this is going to go to social media. But just as a brief update, just so you guys know about Montpellier Nights, first of all, the Japanese version of this wonderful series is coming to standard def on Blu-ray in May. This is something we've announced and talked about a couple times already. All 51 episodes in Japanese with subtitles. And there's over an hour of extra features for this. There's interviews with the Japanese cast and crew, plus commercials, promotional clips, and of course the clean opening and ending sequence.
Those screenshots that you saw earlier, that was actually from those bonus features, and they put it on all 13 volumes of the Japanese DVD, but we got them all.
We've got every bit of that, so there's plenty of extras for you. And you may remember that we've had some issues finding useful masters in the dub version, and unfortunately, we still don't have a definite answer for you. But we do have a strong reason. We can say that much. We can say, we have something that might pan out, but we didn't want to get your hopes up and say, we definitely got it. We didn't also want to be like, well, we have no news whatsoever, because we know that the Montpellier Nights people out there want an update. I'm one of them.
Yeah, I'm working on this right now. Keep your fingers crossed. That's all I can really say.
Does anyone remember the baseball episode? There's like a centaur character, like a bull character, named Bull Buckner, and Bill Buckner from the Red Sox. Classic. I love it. And another thing in terms of us restoring old dubs, Brady, you wanted to give us a little bit of an update on Ninja Senshi Tomikage, aka Ninja Robots. And we're getting pretty close there, right? We've got a lot of the episodes, but we still...
I'm missing like 7 of them.
Nice.
But I have 7 episodes. It's like the last few, and then a couple in the middle of the back half are missing, but I have most of them. So if you have any leads, please let us know.
Specifically, the source of a bunch of our recordings was a fan in Australia who had some home videotapings.
Yeah,
so if we recover any more of these, it's probably going to be by that avenue, because we've talked to a whole lot of people who broadcast this, who had tapes of it at some point. Yeah, they remember the show, they don't have the tapes anymore.
Yeah, so from what I understand, it was aired in both Australia and Southeast Asia. At the time, VCR recording in Southeast Asia wasn't as prevalent, so if recordings do show up, it would probably be from an Australian fan or another fan who recorded it back then. The other avenue, which is what I've been trying to chase down for the last month, is apparently it also aired on Televisa in Latin America. And the report is that it likely had the English on the SAP channel for that, and it was dubbed from the American version. So fans there might have recordings of it, possibly. If you know somebody who works at Televisa and have a contact there, like a legitimate contact, somebody you know, that would also be helpful. I have cold emailed every Televisa contact that I could possibly find, which is about, I would say at this point, about 8 different email addresses with no response. I emailed like 3 or 4 people just this Monday, and I've not received anything. We have somebody who can speak Spanish as well, so there's not like a language barrier. So yeah, if you either have recordings, know somebody who might have recordings, or have a contact there at Televisa, please contact me on Twitter at Brady Hartle or the Discotheque Twitter, or just get in contact.
And someone does raise a question, and that's an interesting one I think we should address now. If we can't find all the dubbed episodes, we're going to put what we have on there, right? It's not going to be like, well, if we don't have it, we don't use it. We're going to use what we have.
I mean, I guess that would be the plan too. Yeah, I'm not sure how. I would have to discuss with Justin how we would present that. But yeah, I would like to include what we have. I mean, we do have the first 20 episodes completely in great quality, and then the last half is the more rough half. But we do have most of them. So yeah, I would try to definitely include as much as we can. But again, I have to discuss with Justin like exactly how we would present that.
Yep.
All right. Well, speaking of things that we've been working on, here is the final trailer of something that we've really polished up and shown off before. So we're excited to show you this trailer for this wonderful movie that will be releasing very soon.
Nice. Memories.
Some of those a shot.
This is the first time hearing on any biological research project.
See the robots, everyone is back!
Hey, Dad, there's something I've always wanted to ask. Do you know why we're fighting in the war?
Suggested C-Boy. I believe Sony still has it. Why do I even know good things?
All of this is just her memories!
Shoot and blast with all your might. I've been walking around the house a lot saying that to the cat.
That is such a good trailer that I'm ready to tweet the stream just to watch it again. And it's like one of those trailers like I wish you could see in theaters because it's so good.
Shout out to our buddy Brendan for putting that together. He did an amazing job.
Just by way of an update, we've got some stuff to talk about. So obviously work's been completed on the English version, which screened for almost 700 people in this very channel. In fact, we forgot to change the subtitle of the channel.
Yeah, I think somebody fixed it.
Oh, you
Yes,
did? Okay.
Discotheque panel now.
Yeah, excellent.
Discotheque panel now.
That was one of those situations where he texted me. It's like, hey, you need to change the title. It's like, I'm already broadcasting. I'm glad he could change. But anyway, this is going to be both English and Japanese, in both 5.1 and stereo. And what else?
Actually, I have some important news on this one.
Okay.
Ah!
As of last night around, actually this morning around 7 a.m. my time, it's in the oven. It's submitted. It's done. Disc is complete.
Oh, we're going gold on it, huh?
Yep, Gold Master.
I love it.
We got those bugs back, and we all like sort of like burned the midnight oil to get it completed.
Yeah, we were kind of up against deadline. We really cracked our feet on this.
Yeah, well,
I don't say we get dragging our feet.
yeah,
No,
there was a lot. There was a lot of
Just a
work to
lot.
do, and in fact, we're going to be examining some of the special features since we're so proud of this. So let's take a quick look at those and what was sent over to me. So first of all, these are all digital features. They're going to be on the disc, and this seems like there's a lot of key art that came with this, huh?
Correct. There's what, 4 different galleries. One for the basic movie itself with a bunch of artwork. This is a poster. This is one of the pieces of art that was on the laser disc.
Yeah.
We did one for each of the episodes, and then one for just the overall movie. And there's just a ton. It's I would say like each one has at least like 70 different pieces of artwork, and then Magnetic Rose itself has about 120, I think, different pieces of artwork. So
Yeah, it's up there. And Magnetic Rose, it's especially important to look at the design sketches because the characters changed a lot because they really weren't in the original manga that Ultimo did all those years ago.
Yeah, I was going to say, this looks like an artboard here, like before they even started with the storyboards and the character designs. You know, the first sets of images to kind of sell Magnetic Rose.
Yep.
There goes my hero.
yeah.
Hey, he's a man of these times, that's for sure.
Oh, 100%.
I play it because it goes out in the world because he doesn't know better. And also a ton of liner notes, huh?
Correct.
Yeah.
It's called Justin.
Yeah, oh my God, that was some intense work because what we did was we didn't have the rights to all of the interviews in the art book, but we were allowed to reference them. So we had them all translated, and honestly, you don't want to go through all of them because there's a lot of like polite Japanese salaryman, just talking in circles. But there is so much good info in there. I learned so much writing this. And, oh, by the way, that weird old man there, that was originally Miguel.
Yeah, we tried to in the liner notes we sort of tried to show the early designs and where Justin calls them out. Like we spent a lot of time on the layout of the notes. I guess I did like them pretty fast, but we still like tried to take extra care and like show a lot of the stuff since we had access to the art.
Yeah, there's a lot of good information in there.
It's really cool. It's very, very cool. Like I just like laying them out and reading it. I learned a lot, and this is the 3D model for the Corona.
Yeah. And here's 40.
It's
it's
model after Kotatsu.
Oh yeah, I can see it. Well, I mean, it's a space vessel. It doesn't have to be aerodynamic.
Right.
Yeah. And this is something that you sent along to me. This is four pages from one of the original program guides.
So the Japanese Blu-ray came with a interview booklet, and we were able to include that because they sent us all the Japanese packaging. So what we did is we translated the book and then completely relaid out the book, and then it is both included on the Blu-ray as a digital gallery with all the interviews. And they interview all the directors for each of the episodes, and there's a little bit of production art and everything like that too, and it talks about the movie. And then we also included a high-res PDF on the disc as well that you can view all the stuff up close. But yeah, we're including that as well. That's a little bit of a bonus surprise. It's pretty cool. There's a lot of interesting stuff in the interviews too.
Okay. Well, and another thing to kind of cap this off is there's a Storyboard To Screen feature that will show you how the storyboards evolved and became the final animation. And we're going to look at a little piece of that from Cannon Fonda right now. So let's check it out. that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's amazing how detailed and how true to the animation the storyboards are. That's pretty rare.
Yeah, it's that close. It's the entire Cannon Fodder segment as well. And shout outs to our pal Elaine for taking the time to go through all of those storyboards and time them. It took her quite a while.
Yeah, so there's a lot on these discs, and as you can imagine, they took. I'd say these discs weren't as complicated as Robot Carnival, but they were up there in terms of how much stuff we made for them.
Well, I think also this required a lot more restoration work than Robot Carnival.
That is also true.
Discotheque too.
And I know that, so here's a list of some of the extras, and I know that folks have been clamoring since we started talking about this for a time frame. So we can finally say that Memories is going to be looking to be coming out in
June
2021. So,
Finally.
yeah.
Yay!
So it's here, it's happening, and I'm thinking you should be able to pre-order that on Right Stuff and your other favorite anime retailers pretty soon now.
Yeah.
So probably
We've got another
next
license.
month's
We've got
Discotheque
sort of
Day.
a total whiplash of a license announcement coming.
Here we go.
Because, obviously, this thing has a lot in common with Memories, in that it is an animated feature, and it's from Japan. Well, it's not a feature, it's a TV show, but it's animation. Anyway, this...
Neonbo!
Neonbo.
What the heck? Neonbo!
Oh, yeah, you can clearly see the influence. Neonbo is a wonderful little surreal series of cardboard cats, cats made of little cardboard boxes.
Neonbo.
It's 24
Neonbo.
episodes of absolute pure whimsy of this little box-headed cat family having adventures. And the Yotsuba character from the favorite comic strip, you can make something of a cameo in it. So that's something pretty fun. And this is going to be coming out with subtitles on Blu-Ray, and other details are TBA. And this is another weird, surreal cat cartoon that we have locked up the market for. Baby. We're going to be #1 in cat cartoons.
We told Japan, what's something weird?
But I
with cats?
suppose this could be distribution for Crunchyroll.
We're gonna have to work on our Heathcliff license next, right?
Oh yeah, well yeah, that's technically Japanese animation.
Oh, super slow.
Okay, now you
How
guys
about Grimm's Fairy
talk
Tales?
about Grimm's Fairy Tales, because there's some interesting work going into that in terms of restoration, right?
Yeah, so we didn't find usable masters per se, but we found an old format that actually predates VHS but was used professionally called U-matic, 3/4 inch.
Yeah.
Now the video quality, we found it for the whole series in English.
Alright.
The downside is the video quality of U-matic not useful for making even an SD Blu-ray. It just looks like VHS, or worse in some cases.
It's about the same as VHS. The one thing U-matic could do, speaking from an AV live events professional, U-matic could do perfect music.
Yes.
That's what I
These guys!
professionally in
Okay,
music.
there's Crane
And yeah, and then
Discotheque
even
not
into the
bad anymore.
2000s, it was used just for like
Even though I
time
have
code
to tell.
spotting professionally for doing subtitles. But for our purposes, it was very useful because the audio on there is pristine, and they were actual clones of masters, which means that they were not hacked up by TV broadcasters in any way. So first of all, we were missing 4 episodes, and now we are not missing 4 episodes. Second of all, we were able to really improve the audio quality on the entire series. And, yeah, go ahead.
Didn't you find like alternate versions? Like there's one. With,
Oh, alternate versions.
Yeah.
All right.
The first episode, actually, there is all of the episodes have the same narrator. It's kind
This
of
is
this,
nice.
genteel sounding old British man, but there's one that's an Australian woman. And she's not great, but it's really interesting to hear it with a completely different narrator.
Alright.
So,
Alright.
also, there was this one episode called Bluebeard that is really, really shockingly bloody for something that aired on Nick Jr. And they did actually make an edited version of it that cuts out about 2 minutes of dripping gore. So we included both versions on the disc. So now we have bonus
Alright.
features.
All right,
That's pretty
then.
cool. And this was just a silly cartoon that ran on Nickelodeon, but this release of it is kind of turning into something.
All right. This is cool,
I
Discotheque.
did
This
not
is cool.
expect this to turn out as cool as it did, but it turned out really damn cool. And
It's neat.
Needless to say, guys, our childhood is important to us because it's our childhood. So, those of you who remember this fondly, Grimm's Fairy Tales, look forward to it.
Jeez.
We'll bring it to you soon.
I also want to say, especially that like
Oh.
these were recut using like the better pristine Japanese master, so this probably looks better than it ever did on
Oh, yeah.
TV. Like, because we spent the time to like recreate all of like the chirons and everything. So
Yeah.
this project turned from
So calling for
this
Alice
is
in
the best
Wonderland
we could do
anime.
to, Gee, this is actually pretty darn cool.
Awesome.
Still SD, but you know, as good as you're gonna get in SD.
Yeah. And this is going to be coming out
Ah,
soon, so
there is
over the
one.
course of the year.
Yeah, there's actually two
Meatball.
seasons. In
Must
both
be one of
versions, so
those
we did,
World Masterpiece
we're
Theater.
separating them out. But each disc is doing that. Each volume is going to have the Japanese episodes and the matching English episodes, so you get both.
Alright.
So,
Here we
got
go.
another license announcement. So be very careful and use caution. This is something quite recent that I'm sure some of you watched and enjoyed on streaming. We are bringing
Magical Gore
to,
Let's go! Let's go!
This is a fun series about a cute girly girl who turns into
Yes!
the magical being is like big and muscle bound and scary and kind of a dude. And if you don't know, the ore, that's a particularly rough masculine pronoun that macho Japanese dudes use to refer
Alright, that's Crunchyroll.
refer to actual metal.
Period
We'll be
plus.
releasing that in Japanese with English subtitles. Obviously, this one's going to be a bit later in the year, so other details are TBA. And yes, I'm a big fan of the cover. That's what a magical girl should look like. Look at how determined she looks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, what was the thing that you had to say, Justin, about this?
Okay, so episode 5 almost killed us because there are constant on-screen signs, constant, and it kind of sort of blew up the authoring software because we kept overloading it, and it took us about 8 or 9 tries to finally get it to work. So yeah, this is one of those shows that just completely blows up everything.
Alright.
Yeah,
wow, worse than Bobo, really.
significantly worse than Bubble Bubble.
Wow.
Just that
Alright.
one episode.
Is that one single episode? All right, and we're coming up to the kind of the tentpole of this panel. This is probably the biggest reason we're having this panel. So I hope that everyone is ready because what we're about to witness is pretty darn important. Now, you may remember that we've been talking pretty extensively about our efforts to bring Project Tyco to Blu-ray. We were going to use a device
Here we
called
go.
Doomsday Duplicator and a special proprietary upscaling technology called AstroRes to create basically about as good as you can get a release of Project Tyco.
We got pretty far.
Yeah, so
The
basically,
guy that we
this
did
is
the
back
we
to
did the
Crunchyroll.
Laserdisc capture, and one of our guys actually
What
spent I
happened
think
with them
3 or
Sentai?
4 months hand retouching it to look as good as it possibly could.
And then I spent like 2 weeks deinterlacing the old masters too. Like, we spent a lot of time prepping all this.
Yeah, because I mean, you know, basically with a Laserdisc version as a master, that's about as good as you are going to be able to make it look. Well, there's been a twist in the tale, and the Project Tyco Blu-ray that we were planning to release using the miraculous AstroRes system has in fact been canceled.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, it's a that one gutted us.
Yeah,
That one gutted us.
Yeah, it was something of a shock. It was something of a shock, and I see that some of you are like, "Wait a minute, you can't. That just can't be it." Right? And yeah, guys, don't worry too much. This is actually good news, and the reason it's good news is because of this. You guys recognize this, Justin? This looks familiar to you, right?
It does, although I've never seen it look that pretty.
Yeah, I was going to say, never seen him look that good, but this is a stock photo of a film canister.
What? It's not a hubcap?
It's not a hubcap. The reason why we have a stock photo of a film canister is because we have in fact located
Yes!
the film elements.
Here we go! Here we go!
5mm master.
This is not a print. This is the original
Yeah.
negative.
Oh yes!
I was going to say, I didn't know if it was a
They
negative. or a
found
positive,
it.
but it's original. Boom.
Boom!
So that's going to be what we're going to have to look forward to. You guys want to see a sample clip
Oh, yes, freaking yes.
We started to get some materials back from the lab, and we can have a sample to show for you. So yeah, I think you would like to see a sample clip. If you give me just a second to switch over, I'll share it with you.
Like, holy shit. Discotek's relationship with APPP is amazing. Alright.
So, not bad, huh, guys?
Yeah.
The chat is just blowing up. I love this.
Yeah.
This is we've been waiting so long, and I saw people in the chat saying it looks great even though it's Twitch quality. Well, we also uploaded a clip of it to YouTube, and we're gonna post the link in the chat if you guys want to check out a little bit better quality than Twitch quality.
Yeah, and that's going to get posted on our social media too, because I'm sure
It's already posted on social media.
So yeah, poetry in motion, right, guys? And hey, you know what? As good as that Astro Res version we were working on looked, this is going to look even better. So wow, it's pretty cool. And also, I wanted to go back to my old joke of every time I paste a photo into a PowerPoint slide deck, PowerPoint tries to figure out what it is and not metadata. And this is what it did for this one.
A person singing into a microphone.
Microsoft was like, oh yes, that's a person singing into a microphone. Yep, that's what Eiko was doing in this shot. The microphone.
Okay, it's a
right
Crunchyroll version of this.
But to elaborate on our plans,
pretty much a Crunchyroll
sometimes
version.
when a door is closed, the window is opened, and that's what's happening with Project Eiko. We are, the film master was thought to have been lost, because the folks at the film lab where it was stored could not find it. But in fact, there was a clerical error in the way it was filed that was preventing people from being able to find it. And a regular customer at the lab noticed this when they were inquiring about materials and going to pick up materials, and they tipped us off. And that customer who just gave us that little wink and nod said, "Hey, I think the thing you want is actually there." It's this guy named Robert Woodhead. And yeah, it's that Robert Woodhead.
And an Echo.
What a match, that one.
Yeah. We owe
him a nice cheese basket or something.
Yeah, I mean, he already helps us quite a bit outside of this. And then he gave us this huge mega bomb of information. And
oh, by the way, the video is still up on the stream.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So we were riffing and reacting, and we didn't see this at all. So I'm gonna wind this back real quick because I have to show you guys the actual visual element I was laughing at. This is what PowerPoint tried to do with this Eiko thing real quick. I pasted this picture into the slide deck. It was like, yeah, that's a person singing into a microphone. Yep. Absolutely.
Alright.
the best
Sometimes I
audio
always
animator is probably Big
many
Bill.
years
Sorry,
of film
that was
master for
me.
Project
Forget
Echo
about
has
these.
been carefully stored in the
These
same film
But
level over
yeah, that
and
Astro
it's kind of
video
missing.
we're working on, we're gonna have to save
Critical
that
error.
technology for some other stuff.
Maybe
That is
search
videotape only,
for-
that we can, video master only, because we are going to be doing a brand new HD transfer of Project Eiko. The extra features that we were working on for the first film will still be included. Other details may be changing though, because we are working on a new edition of Eiko. And in fact, Brady, you have some more stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
Because we're going to be doing something with the artwork, right?
Cool, yep. So I've been working with my artist friend, Mariel Cartwright. You might know her as Kiniko. She's the lead on Indivisible, lead animator and solo. She's creatively on Indivisible. I work with her. People probably know that Discotheque's kind of like my remote job in that my day job is
There could be
working
another
with
deal with that
She
sometime.
is
Maybe
one of
one or two
the top
power
artists in video games right now for 2D. So she is working with me on making a new cover for Eiko for the Blu-ray.
And this is the first thing you sent along. This looks like thumbnails, right? So you guys are
Right.
kind of workshopping the idea.
So yeah, when we start on these covers, and we've done different covers for things like Mention Grey Earth, and we drew art for Team Glory Orange Road because there was really no artwork for it. So what we do is we start with thumbnails like this, and this is what Mario came up with. We usually go through them and like B rejected because it's really too close to the like the original artwork that we already have. And so we decided on D, and then so she refined that a bit more, which should be next, I think, slide.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and also this obviously this artwork is in progress. It's not going to be final, but this was the thumbnail that you ended up going with, right?
Correct. And then so she fleshed it out more, and she was like, "What do you think of this?" And it was pretty unanimous that we both liked D, so she started going ahead with it. And then she's beginning the refinement process to get the line work done, which is where we're at right now, which is this, which is going to look really cool.
That's so
This looks so good. This looks so good.
It's still like a
Yes.
second pass rough, but it looks so good. And what I love about this artwork that you, Marielle, and some of your other collaborators have come up with is it's always really on point. It's like it's unmistakably those characters, but you can also tell it's something new. That it's just like, well, this isn't from 1985. This is something brand new.
Yeah. I mean, part of it too is like
I'm looking
you
at
have these
your
old
stuff in
shows and you're remastering them.
There's
in HD.
Georgian Z,
And
there's that
like
Joe
with this,
show.
for instance, again, Orange Road and whatnot. Like, I want it to unmistakably look like the show, but also like there's been care and that it's new and like, oh, this is a new edition. It's not just slapped together, you know. Like, I think that a lot of these old shows, it's a disservice to them when you can't, like, when it's just some old like photocopy or a slide. Because like a lot of these shows just you get like a scan of a slide and it's really low quality. Like, right now, the alternate cover, just for those people who love the nostalgia, the alternate cover will be the classic Tyco cover where with all the explosions in the background and the planes and all that, and it goes running and all that. That'll be the underneath cover, under the slip cover. And like every version of that is a slide, like a blurry slide. So we're having that also retouched as well. So that would be included. But yeah, like a lot of stuff just comes like it's too blurry.
I
Like,
think
this movie especially, I want to make sure it looks amazing.
What? Poster.
So excited.
Poster.
And guys, more than
poster for
anything else, this announcement and this
I know
update was kind of the
usually
reason we're
say
doing
for
this.
pleasure to
This
say
was
but
such
hey,
an
I didn't
exciting-
stop having limited for it be the beginning.
Originally, this was the whole panel was just this.
Yeah, this was
Hey, we found the film, mic drop.
yeah,
Okay.
pretty much. But that's the big one. So we're starting to get over the hump here. But don't worry, we have plenty of cool stuff to talk about. Brady, you also wanted to put the spotlight on the packaging for our release of Rose of Versailles.
Oh, yes.
Lady Oscar.
So yeah. Yes, I did want to put spotlight on this first and foremost because like
A prologue.
licensing restrictions we have to
episode
make
one.
the
All
total
right.
list. But there's no change in the show. The show is uncut. It's still called Rose of Versailles. Everything on the disc is what you want if you love the show.
That's a really pretty fun cover too. I like the fact that it's Lady Oscar, but Rose of Versailles is also front and center too.
There was a
solid
lot of
compromise.
there was a lot of back and forth, and that's sort of what we came upon to do was to do it that way. And then they let us do a new logo type and everything.
Right.
Shout outs to my amazing artist friend Stephanie who worked on this tirelessly. She colored and drew the art and everything based off of what we were allowed to use. She goes by Eggloaf on Twitter if you want to follow her. But yeah, she did an amazing job on this, especially because this is a very difficult show to. There's a lot of people high up on the chain of this who have to approve this. So it took quite a while to get this going.
Let's look at the wraparound cover. This is the part back together. So yeah, I like the fact that this is one of those things where almost every piece of the packaging has different key art. It's not like you're stuck with one piece of art that you kind of have to finesse and reuse several times. A lot of beautiful art here.
Yeah, she did amazing. Because she colored all this in the style of the show, and this is not an easy style to replicate. So it's really cool. The other thing I want to talk about too is the O sleeve. If we If
Well,
something.
that's a little bit farther along, but
Okay.
we'll rush on over to that. This is the inside cover.
Alright.
So I think some of this
Looks
artwork
like
was
it's
used for
from
the
the-
DVD release, so you
I
may
know,
recognize
Sony
that.
Channel.
And of course, the discs
DVD
each have their own individual art as well. Very pretty. And,
Yeah, the inside art is the Michi Himeno's art. We did want to do something different for the outside, but also still include her artwork as well. So if you want to, you can flip that over inside or do whatever you want with it.
you can display the original Japanese title. That's cool. But yeah, you wanted to spotlight something interesting about the O-ring, and I just pasted the whole thing in there. But you can see, if you look closely, especially at the Blu-ray stripe at the top, you can see the guidelines. And you'll
Correct.
notice that they're curved this time. Usually they're not. Those lines specify where the printer is supposed to cut the card.
Correct. Those are called die lines, and so there's essentially a die that you have to build your designs within that die, and then the printer will cut that. And we've had some problems with the older O sleeves where the corners of the O sleeves would be dented. So we're trying these rounded O sleeves to see if there'll be less damage when these are shipped, when they're shrink wrapped. As always, give us feedback if you start getting these and it's better,
Yeah.
let us know.
Yeah, this is something where we're trying to do an incremental improvement in the way we're
Yeah.
packaging this stuff to make it nicer looking and more durable for collectors.
Correct. And these are the one thing is these, to print these, it's a little more expensive, so these will be on more premium titles moving forward if it works out. So as I said, let us know what you think. See how it works once you start getting these newer titles to use them. This title uses it. Arion's going to use it coming up. Memories will also be like this. So a lot of the upcoming titles will use this. So let us know.
So that's Lady Oscar, and we've also got a Lupin the Third update. Nothing earth-shaking, but we wanted to make sure you guys all knew that we've still got more stuff coming in the pipeline. A Woman Called Fujiko Mine and Lupin the Third, Missed by a Dollar. Those come out. Those have come out in February of this month, so those are back on shelves now. And also the Lupin the Third Part 3 Blu-ray is coming soon. It should have a release date pretty soon. You're working on that, right, Brady?
Yeah, so right now I'm waiting for, like, it's altered. Right now I'm waiting for translation fixes to come back, and then that will be in the oven. And that show has a lot of old artwork, so I'm not quite done the packaging yet because it requires, the artwork requires a lot of restoration. There's a lot of, it has a lot of artwork, but we've had to color it by hand. So it had a lot of good artwork that need to be colored. So it's
and there's a duality going on there too, right? Because there are kind of two separate character styles in that show.
Correct. So the main cover is what I did is I selected two pieces of key art, and one of them is more the first half of the show, and then the second one, the ultimate cover, is more the zany, like the second half.
Yeah.
So like you'll be able to sort of choose which you want to use and which style you like.
Excellent. And then also, if you look on the right there, we did. I don't think we had a big formal announcement for this one, but Lupin the Third, Elusiveness in the Fog, is coming to Blu-ray in May. That's another one that has not come out in English in North America before now, but it's here.
And
Yeah, I think that when we announced
several
Tyco last time, we
months,
probably should have
they
announced this
were
one instead. I think that
third
was maybe we just
time.
mixed them up.
TV special.
But yeah, because
released
this one was already done, and then like Tyco is what I'm working on right now.
between
So this one is
almost 2010 and
this one actually was like a sort of an anniversary one, and
the Filmation dubbed ones.
this is of the fall that brings back Kyosuke Mamo, which is he's more
Alright.
I guess like the TV version. He's not like the Mystery of Mamo.
Yeah, it's a coincidence.
Could be done with this, but
Yeah, and so this one is the master for this I think was actually like fairly HD, even though it was 4:3. So like it looks pretty nice, even though it's 4:3.
Cool. And yeah, well, obviously we're not finished yet, and there's more on the way. And in fact, Brady, you wanted to talk a little bit about Return of Tyco because that's something
Yeah.
you've been working on lately.
Correct. So
From 2002, guys.
From 2002.
19 years ago. Yeah, that was a long time. So this was a sequel of sorts to one of the episodes of the original TV series with a memorable villain, a guy who seems to use supernatural magic to fight. And this is something that you've had to conform up from standard def, right?
This is so
Yeah, so this is an interesting special because it has scenes in 4:3, scenes in non-anamorphic widescreen, and then it has like just what I would preview it later. But yeah, it's just a very complicated thing to upscale, and so we've had to upscale this from a non-anamorphic widescreen, and even it's such a small, like this is the picture in the top left is the actual original resolution of this, and that's what it was animated in. There is no bigger, there's no HD. So we've been experimenting with
scaled up rather nicely, especially the background art there.
Yeah,
Really pops.
the reason why we went back and we got the original master to redo the upscale versus the upscale that exists already is because the one that exists now, they really warped it, they warp sharpened it. Oh, like they really sharpened it. Like it looks really weird and like sort of like flickery a little bit, and then a byproduct of that is all the detail and like the paintings and stuff in the background is really like erased. It looks sort of like plasticky. So we've gone back and I'm currently in the middle of running an encode to hand this over. But yeah, it cleaned up pretty nice. It looks pretty close to some of like the 720p stuff.
So I wanted to highlight this shot because there's some early CG going on there.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of early CG compositing in this. There's a lot of they filmed like a fish and then like filtered the
First one was Dear Brother.
Yeah.
Second
Yeah,
one
so
was
like you can see here.
Ashy Girl Meets Girl.
Yeah, there's like that's like a film of a real fish, and so it's all really weird. Like you can see the top. There's some scenes that are 4:3. Like there's parts where they literally, I think, recorded Winamp visualizers and like composited that into the movie. They filmed a real shower drain and did that and put that in the scene. Like, it's really weird and experimental, and it's been an adventure to interlace this. One thing I will say is, since this is early digital, there are a few very short scenes where they used whatever linear, non-linear editor they were using to edit it, and they sped up a couple of the scenes, and so those scenes are missing fields, so they will not deinterlace. No matter what I do, they won't deinterlace perfectly. When there was enough art available, I've managed to fix those scenes, but there will be some scenes which look a little pixelated because of the fact that there's no way to bring them completely back.
Yeah.
I've mitigated as much as possible, but yeah, like 95% of the movie will look great, and then there'll be a few scenes that just look kind of a little bit.
Look kind of odd. I mean, it sounds like this is about as good as you can make something that is crossing the digital, early Digipaint to HD divide. But,
yeah. Oh yeah. Like the thing about this special is like I've worked on and fixed so many of these early digital things by this point that like I'm used to everything, and this special has all of the different problems. Like usually they have a couple different problems. This has like all 10 problems rolled into one. It's really been an adventure to do
Shaman
this.
King
Like,
started in
the
2001.
bottom right shot, I had to like deinterlace the digital screen separately from the characters, and then like put the screen back into the deposit the screen back into the footage.
Summer
to get, like,
2001 to fall
pristine footage. Yeah,
2002.
it's been an adventure.
excellent. All right, so that's your Lupin the Third update. The return of Tyco is going to be coming out pretty soon, so please look forward to that, as well as part 3. And I wanted to give us a little quick update on where you can watch Discotheque media titles on the internet. In fact, there's been quite a lot of activity on that front. We've been adding hundreds of episodes of exciting anime releases to Crunchyroll, Amazon, and Retro Crush. One of my favorites, Cyborg 009, is on a couple of those services now. You can watch the Fatal Fury OVAs movies. You can watch Hajime no Ippo on Crunchyroll. And of course, there's Just Beyond.
Discotheque stuff.
We do have a contingent of
Especially
very local, very
since,
enthusiastic Tokusatsu fans who really want everyone to watch Just Beyond.
Oh yeah,
We
it was high for
You said we only did anime.
Yeah, I know. But no, we've done some experimenting, and you can in fact watch Just Beyond on Crunchyroll now. That is a way to support Tokusatsu by going to the official channels and checking it out. So that's one way you can do that. And in fact, there are some eagle-eyed fans who occasionally notice
Yeah.
just kind of quietly post something. under the Discotheque emblem, and they're like, oh, maybe Discotheque has the rights to
That
serve
includes the
titles
tale
that
of
are
the
available streaming that we haven't done
has
the
been
video
released
for.
by NBC Universal and
In
in
fact,
Japan.
we're going to announce something
Here we
that
go!
we're going to be bringing back for streaming very soon. This was something that came back around 2010, 2011. And we're bringing it back, baby. This is a streaming licensing announcement of a story of barrier magic. Kakaishi is coming back
Kakaishi.
to video on streaming platforms courtesy of Discotheque. We're going to bring all 52 episodes of the series of Barrier Warriors back in English and in the Japanese version with subtitles. We'll be bringing this to Crunchyroll, and it may also appear on some other portals later. Now, obviously, everyone is going to ask, wait a minute, home video? Hey, guys, that's a good question. We may have news on that later. But for now, in the meantime, please enjoy Kakaishi on streaming when it makes its debut. And there's lots of other cool stuff you can also watch on streaming, like these movies in particular about aliens, extremely obnoxious ones. And the Urusei Yatsura movies that are going to be coming out on Blu-ray, the 5 remaining ones, those aren't quite ready to come out of the oven. They're looking like they're going to be coming out this summer, but not quite yet. But we have unleashed them on Crunchyroll. You can now watch all 6 Urusei Yatsura films, dubbed or subtitled.
Alright,
What I like about these movies is that
beautiful
there's a
dreamer.
huge,
They are
there's a huge
not in
gradient
HD.
of tone
They
and,
look like they came from
style across these.
Animego's
Some of them
DVD
are
release.
very silly and cartoony. Some
And
of
the
them are
first
kind of
movie is
serious
the
and
extended version
Some of them
that
are
is
small
not on the
stories that take
Japanese
place with
Blu-ray.
just a few characters, and some of them are quite cosmic, and you can kind of go through all
So
of
I'm
them.
saying it's not just real HD.
We should note.
I remember someone saying
We should note
not
that the
has
screens
a
are
licensing
in
code
standard definition
because of
because
rights
HD
issues.
masters are, still a work in progress.
Yeah, we're trying to make only you the version people want to see. So.
Right. And of course, that's the first movie.
Yeah. But in any case,
Yeah.
we've been waiting for these to come back, and they are back on streaming. And to kind of start to bring things home, we're going to just go over really quick our current and upcoming releases. We're not going to do like a big sprawling release calendar. We're just going to kind of bullet pointize it. So last month in February, Banania Season 2 came out on Blu-ray. We rescued Brave 10 and then returned that to home video. The Lupin the Third Columbus Files special came out. Konosuba Season 2. I know there's a lot of Konosuba fans out there. Miss Machiko came out on standard def on Blu-ray. And of course, Acro Bunch. In March. Hajime no Ippo, The Fighting Collection 2, the second
I feel
set,
like we're gonna
contains
see
the
our
back half
May
of the series.
2021 announcements here.
No. That's collection
There's
3.
not,
It's 3
we
box
not,
sets.
doesn't have our solicitation
Yeah,
stay
No,
yet.
this is the middle.
The middle
Middle
set.
chunk.
Okay.
Here we go.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Lupin the Third missed by $1. The Leiji Matsumoto series, Submarine Super 99, Cyber City OEPO 808.
We could see some,
Lupin the
like
Third,
a couple of announcements here.
all come out this month. They're scheduled to release at the end of the month, but I think there are some.
And
details
probably
that-
gonna be coming like
Please pick up.
start for
your premiere
pre-order
and
like
don't pay
tomorrow?
$150 on
Tomorrow
Yeah.
And
afternoon?
I'm not paying more.
You don't have to pay the fancy out of print prices anymore. It's back. It'll be with us for a good long time.
It's got everything the old release had, plus improved subtitles and everything, so it's worth it.
I'm still gonna get started.
Next month in April, we'll be doing Stride on Blu-ray. We're going to bring the classic Saint Seiya movies, including
Alright,
the
and for Saint Seiya, I hope you get it. It is cheap. It is really cheap for what it's worth for a Discotheque movie product. It- just- please just get it.
And Lupin the Third Elusiveness of the Fog.
And here we go, Magical.
May, and I think the date was May 25th.
Alright, we got
Magical Girl Ore Metabot Season 3,
Metabot
Arion,
Season 3,
Fairy
Arion,
Tales, Collection
Fairy
1,
Tales
and
Collection 1,
Kakashi
Kakashi Burmese Girl.
And Brady, you also wanted to take a closer look at the
Alright.
Arion packaging we had, right?
Oh yeah, so this took a while to do, but yeah.
It is a
I think
sunrise
it's
license.
really good, and I'm using pretty down on my own stuff, so
Yeah.
I wanted to highlight it.
Oh, this is nice. This looks nice.
Yeah, this is something that jumped out to me once again, where it's like there seem to be a dozen different pieces of key art that you've arranged in a really enticing manner here.
Yeah, I put a lot of work into restoring this, and also we didn't announce the features before, but there's it's like This is like 25 minute long making of Arion video from
Yeah.
it's like a period piece that's included. There's a promo video that has like early animation and stuff in it, like early cuts and stuff like that. That shows some of the story. There's an
Just
extensive
wait,
art gallery.
just wait.
The theatrical teaser and trailer. Like there's a lot of really
No new announcements for them.
nice extras on this too.
Apparently,
So
like
if you're a fan of this, and the animation in this movie is absolutely
two
amazing. Like the
new
like the
announcements.
those are like models, but like the top left
May
picture of
2021.
Arion, like looking out to the left, that's just a screenshot that I
Yeah.
put in there. Like it's a very beautiful movie. Like it was very hard to pick 4 screenshots out of this movie, I will say.
Okay,
So
this is not
outside
terribly
cover,
fun.
and,
It's
this is what
fun.
the inside cover is going to look like. So this is
That's
one of the
nice.
paintings that he did. So much of that guy's art that you look at and you think, oh, he must have labored over this. No, he did it freehand with a brush. No one should have
Imagine.
talented.
Yeah.
And this is what the disc itself is going to look like.
It's a
So,
sunrise
coming in May,
Confirmed.
And, yeah, the
It
only one
was
that's saying
in
that this is
case
one of those movies that is so
close.
that even though we inquired about maybe doing it, couldn't find a music and effects track anymore. That's a problem with older films. But hopefully it doesn't come up that often. Anyhow, and later on in the summer, there's some stuff that we've announced, but we don't quite have
Video
dates yet.
Warrior Laserion.
I put the cover for Laserion there because I slapped together
Okay.
a template.
It's actually
for it,
pretty
but,
nice.
Discotheque, the bosses actually liked the logo,
Well,
so they used it. So
listen, guys, the cover's not terribly
Yeah, that's a
fun.
good logo. And you know what? If you
Yeah,
if you
cover
put
art is
L,
fun.
S, and E, and Arion,
The
you get
rest of
later
the
on.
art is
That's
not
true.
terribly fun.
And so yeah, these don't have release dates yet, but these are coming. Rosa Versailles, Lady Oscar Collection 2. Memories, of course, that what we did. Kind of
June.
spoiled that one. We found the third Revenge of Tyco, Laserion, Yanbo, Dear Brother is coming to Blu-ray later in the year. Black Rock Shooter with an all-new dub.
Alright.
And once again, we're going to whip out the magnifying glass and take a closer look at Black Rock Shooter's packaging.
Oh boy!
I want to know.
Oh boy! Here we go!
Right? Something you order at the bar.
That should be it. Whenever
It's a
anime
master
comes out,
license! Oh yes!
What's a bar?
And that cover art looks dope!
I'm gonna be like that. So what we're looking at, this is going to be the O-ring, right? The outer cover.
Correct. This is the outer cover. This is also kind of.
Oh boy! Oh,
But I also figured
I don't
it was a little
feel
bit,
This is not final. Sorry, I forgot to state not final on there.
and in this show, we didn't announce any of the features for this yet either. And it's got like a behind the scenes. It's got like a compositing video, and a couple different things. Yeah. So.
And this is the inside cover. So 2 completely separate cover artworks. That's always a good thing to have.
Correct. Yeah, and then the O-ring will be the reverse cover. So the disc is also pretty good.
Yeah, looking pretty good.
Yeah.
And, part 2 of things that are going to be coming a bit later on this year that we've already talked about. Beltanius, of course, the progenitor to the lion robot. This is the original lion robot.
City Hunter Part 1.
Mahbaba.
Alright, so
City
that's for
Hunter,
the summer.
City Hunter 2 Part 1. Yes, that's finally coming to Blu-ray this summer. Don't have an exact date yet, but it's coming this summer. Grimm's Fairy Tales Part 2.
Oh, everything that's
Urusei
for
Yatsura
OU,
One.
alright.
We're looking to release Kenichi the Mightiest Disciple Collection 1, which was previously announced. Michiri Neko. Wait a minute, Michiri Neko.
Michiri Neko!
Yeah, I guess that's a licensing announcement. So we are going to be releasing Michiri Neko on Blu-ray. And this is another one of these weird, absurd,
Michiri
surrealist
Neko.
cartoons about cats for children. And if you're wondering if we're trying to corner the market on weird, candy-colored kids cartoons with strange cat characters, the answer is yes. We're going to be doing this subtitled on Blu-ray, and other details are TBA. This is a little bit too far away.
Meow. Meow.
And we have one more licensing announcement. I think this is a pretty big deal. This is a lot of stuff involved in this
Yeah,
license.
I'm a little terrified by this one, I'll be honest.
But until we talk about it, let's all march up. Let's all form up, march in formation, and do our best parade march.
Alright. Sergeant Frog! Sergeant Frog! Are you kidding me? No way! No way! Funimation like they started like streaming this again like last year. Funimation started streaming this again like last year. Are you freaking kidding me right now? No way! No way! Carol John! Are you kidding me right now? Oh no, oh no. Oh damn it. Sergeant Frog, are you fucking kidding me right now?
We told you we wanted a cat anime, and somehow we got a frog anime. You guys won't be too mad at us, right? I mean, we'll get better cats eventually.
Oh no.
Yeah, guys, we're gonna release Sergeant Frog on standard def on Blu-ray, and there's a lot of it. There's a lot of Sergeant Frog.
358 episodes.
Yeah.
And some of it will be in actual HD.
Of little frog aliens arguing and bickering and trying to start an intergalactic war and build little model kits. And it's 4 episodes in Friends, which is on TV for 10 years, and we are releasing all of it on standard def.
Oh no.
Honestly, this is probably not going to be.
Oh man.
Probably going to be a few volumes for you to pick up, but we're
Well,
going
I'm probably going to break them into annual volumes.
Fuck you, man. Fuck you.
Not probably. It is more than once.
No fucking way,
to.
man.
You mean you don't want to at least entertain the idea of selling 358 episodes at once?
I mean, you could do a box set eventually, but
Yeah.
I don't want to make 358 episodes on disc at once. 'Cause
Oh, man.
That's what will finally kill me.
It's like really, but the main thing is. my
Alright,
goodness,
I
it's
suppose
huge.
it'll
It's
include
gonna happen.
what Funimation has dubbed.
And,
Hold on,
I think
Funimation.
we're still
Funimation.
a long way from nailing down details.
What about-
Right? Like, I think we're doing the Funimation dub on the episodes that they did dub, but we don't have anything else yet.
Yeah, we're still looking to see what else is available, so we...
Like the ADV dub.
More to come, more to come.
Details to be.
Like I swear,
Details.
Funimation is still streaming this.
So, and just to go over the checklist of all the licenses that we've announced, if you came in late, we're doing Dear Brother on Blu-ray, we're doing Kashimashi Girl Meets Girl on Blu-ray, Yambo is coming to Blu-ray.
Okay, must be
More is coming to Blu-ray.
Nas.
We're doing
It could be
Kikaishi
Nas.
streaming.
Or hold on, let me check DVD Empire.
And Sergeant Frog,
Like,
the
who did
bang thing.
Funimation get Sergeant Frog from?
That's pretty cool. And yeah, that's all the announcements we have. We told you this one was going to be a little bit shorter. And that's kind of what we've done.
Sergeant
But really,
Frog, Season 1, Part
you guys have
1,
a pretty
Funimation.
good picture of what we're going to be doing for the summer.
Okay, unknown licensor.
We said short, but we're
But
still
this
at an
could-
hour.
I know.
But this probably could
We've still
be.
been talking in front of 1,600 people for well over an hour, so thank you for sticking with us. And hey, you know what? In the fall and the winter, that stuff isn't nailed down yet. We're going to have some more new stuff to announce soon, and we're really looking forward to it. So that's all we have for licensing. Ordinarily, I'm going to say this explicitly, we'd sneak something in right at the end. No, we're not doing that this time. But we are going to stick around and chat with you guys for a little while and do questions. And
Okay, Sergeant Frog.
We know that a lot of you are going to just.
Are you fucking kidding me with this?
But please do hit us on social media, on our
Oh.
Facebook and on our Twitter with your suggestions. We always look at them. We can't talk about what other publishers are up to or what professional work we might be doing outside of Discotheque. And if you don't have a question, but just want to drop the name of something you enjoyed, please do so on the channel. So let's talk, guys. What's on your mind?
Someone asked what existing dubs will Sergeant Frog come with. We don't know yet. We will find out.
if you know us, we try and get as much as we can. We can't always get everything, but we try.
Yeah, and you know, with a lot of our stuff, we're trying to work the angles, but there are a lot of angles to work, and there are a lot of unknowns. There are unknowns. I did see someone asking something about restoring a soundtrack from the vinyl soundtrack or the isolated score. That's something that can work sometimes, but that's still way more than just doing a dub version. That's basically retracking the entire thing, because you wouldn't just have to get the music, you'd have to go to the sound effects library and find the matching sound effects for each sound effect in each scene. That's been done a few times in this business, but it's not common at all. It's very expensive per time.
Also,
Really something that's going to be on the table for us.
Also, often the soundtracks are a different mix or a slightly different version, so that doesn't even always work.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of it would raise the price astronomically.
Let's see. God, this is
Rolling by
so
so
fast.
fast.
A few people have asked about Project Tyco on 4K. No comment.
Yeah. Well, we use asteroids in the future. We've actually used asteroids on a couple projects. You'll have to stay tuned. But we have used it to fix a few scenes in some upcoming movies.
Alright,
So you're going to see it in
alright.
action soon.
Someone wants to know when the final set 3 of Hajime no Yuko, the fighting, is coming out. We don't have a firm date on that yet, but that's probably looking like it's going to be August, September, October, maybe.
It's on the list.
Yeah.
It's on the list. Lots to do. Lots to do.
Lupin Part 2 on Blu-ray, not until there's good enough masters to do it.
Yeah.
Is there a Blu-ray of that in Japan?
Yeah, it's a
But it's not a
not
very
a
good
very
master.
upscale. Yeah, it's not.
So it's just enough. Yeah. So we may as well wait if that's the case.
Someone's asking about more Detective Conan. We told you before that it's coming, not yet.
Yeah.
Hi.
And that's something that's we work with TMS on Detective Conan. So please don't just talk to us on social media. Let them know how much you
Yeah.
love Detective Conan, because it's very much in their interest to see Conan do well.
Yep.
Lazy on BD. We've done a lot of lazy on BD. There are like all of the Galaxy Express 99 movies.
Yep. We dubbed the
Eternal
third one.
Fantasy.
Yeah.
Eternal Fantasy with an all new amazing dub, which this was super fun. And then also we put out the entire TV series.
Yeah,
Probably the best quality ever looked.
There's still more. There's plenty more. I mean, I happen to be personally a big fan of the Queen Millennia movie, but that's not that we don't have that. We can't talk about that. That would be speculation. So we can't answer any questions about that. We'd like to.
We like lazy stuff.
We like lazy stuff. We'd like to do more lazy stuff, but nothing on the calendar right now.
People still shouting titles at us, despite.
Any new features on Fujiko-Mine? There's Japanese trailers and stuff. There's nothing really mind-blowing extra-wise. The big thing is it's got the English 2.0 dub, which was not, or the 2.0 stereo version of the dub, which was not included before. And the subtitles, the subtitles were good, but there were a lot of mistranslations, and there was a lot of missing, like, musical stuff. Like, there's one episode with an opera in it that we translated all the opera lyrics and stuff like that were missing before, which were very meaningful to the actual story. So I was surprised they weren't translated before. But yeah, we sort of polished that one, but there's nothing new, mind-blowing. But we included everything, like the promos and stuff, and all the stuff in the old disc as well.
Someone asking if Memories is going to have the English credits by default, like on the premiere, or will it come up after the Japanese credit roll? Memories is actually has two different paths. So if you watch the restored version, it'll have the English credit roll. If you watch the original Japanese version, it'll have the Japanese credit roll. So they're both out there.
I saw someone ask, and this is an excellent question about an older release of ours, the first Lupin the Third TV series. They were asking if there was a difference between the 4-disc version and the 3-disc version, and yes, there is.
Yeah.
The 3-disc version was specifically a stripped-down version that our licensing partner wanted us to experiment with. It has fewer stuff on there. So if you are a completist, go for the 4-disc version. That I believe has some more extras.
The 4-disc version, I think, is out of print now, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But the main thing you're missing from the 4-disc version is there's two different pilots, and the 3-disc version only has one of the pilots.
Yeah.
if you're just looking to watch the show, the 3DS version's pretty.
Have we tried to compare the Astro Res footage with the film master footage? Well, I mean, I'm sure
Yes.
you guys have, and I'm sure, it's not as big a gap as usual, but it's, you're not going to replace a film remaster with
Yeah,
video
it
remaster.
looks good. It doesn't look anywhere near like the real thing. They're just, all that detail was just not there. It did an amazing job recreating it, but it's not the same as actually having it. So,
Yeah, I mean, it is absolutely amazing, but you can't, when you have a 35 millimeter, the original, like, you can't just take that from a Laserdisc and get that back.
Someone was asking if anything was going to be going out of print anytime soon that you might want to mention. We don't do the whole, it's going out of print, but you better get it soon thing. But good rule of thumb is, if something is older than 5 years old, if it, for example, if it came out in 2016 or earlier at this point, I would not wait to get it because it might be going out of print soon.
All
we do
right.
try to give people a heads up, but honestly, we try to renew as much as we possibly can.
Yeah, we're pretty active about renewing. The biggest roadblock is a lot of stuff will sell out the printing, and we don't go right back to the printers these days.
Well, I mean, there's, we're, a lot of our, a lot of the
Canada.
problems with that too have been the distribution problems, which are thankfully being solved, and things have been a lot smoother now.
Someone's asking if Hajime no Ippo is selling okay. Really okay. It is really selling very, very
All
okay.
right.
In
This could be
fact, I'm shocked at how long it's lingered in the White Stuff Top 10.
All right.
Yeah, that's one of those. I think that's a show that needed time to build a really ardent fan base who wanted to collect it on video a certain way. And those old singles from Jenny on weren't the way they wanted to collect it. They wanted to get box sets, and now they can have them. And so the demand is rising up to meet supply, and that's pretty cool. I'm seeing a lot of questions about the Project ACO sequels. Now, it's a little too early to talk about that right now.
Yeah, no comment.
Yeah.
Brady, do you know the name of the track used for the credits in the Galaxy Train pilot? No, but I know how to look that up. Like, hit me on Twitter and remind me, and I can look it up for you.
Did you ever want to dub all 203 episodes of Hitman Reborn? Nope. That would have been over $1 million, and that show is not as popular as everyone thinks it is.
We had multiple dubbing studios that run, and the younger studios that are run by art and anime fans who were trying to, were putting in bids to us, trying to cut themselves to the bone because they loved that show and wanted to dub it, and it was still too expensive.
Yeah.
And it's sad when you have a situation like that. But yeah, when you're dubbing, even really 26 episodes, that would be a hard ask. But 100 plus, that's too much.
Can you tell the story of the French trailer for Echo again? Can you, Justin? It's a really fun story.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. For years, everyone thought, there was a French theatrical release. And then I looked it up, and then, there is no French theatrical release.
There's no French release at all, I think.
It came out on VHS from Manga Video like it did for everyone else. But that wasn't until the 90s. And the French trailer was on the old Japanese Laserdisc from the 80s. So we're like, what is happening? So we got it translated, and it's actually in weird, kind of semi-broken, whatever the French equivalent to English is. And it's actually meant for the Japanese audience. And it's a narration it's actually the transmission being sent by D to his mothership. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But can you imagine putting something in French with no subtitles in Japanese theaters as a trailer?
I mean, that feels like the kind of trolling the Echo creators would do, though, right? Like, that feels so in tone with Echo to me.
Yeah, totally.
I love that also that this is something that people have thought for so long, that literally the actual American Laserdisc says that, the French theatrical trailer is included. So even back then, nobody knew. Nobody knew this until now.
So weird. And here's the thing. Okay, so here's a little bonus nugget on that new Echo scan. we scanned the entire film area, like not just the frame that would have been projected or the frame that would have gotten transferred. We scanned the entire negative, like we can see the sprocket holes on each side of the picture. And we are seeing jokes in the animation that nobody would have ever seen in theaters or on any video release. Like the literal animator jokes that have not been seen since the film was made. So we'll be sure to include all that stuff.
Yeah, the plan was like we maybe do like a gallery and then they just translate a lot of them. Yeah.
Yeah, you saw me taking notes there. I saw a few questions about Spanish language version, so I wanted to jot that down so I didn't forget it. I think that's just a case of, I want to answer that, is usually when we license stuff, the Spanish language version isn't included. And I don't know, do you guys know, are there a couple of versions of our products that have Spanish dubs or subtitles on them?
Well, EPO has.
EPO does include Spanish.
Yeah.
Just EPO. Just EPO.
That's a great Spanish dub too.
Yeah, you almost always, the actual licensing agreement specifies in English and the original Japanese.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, because goodness knows, if we were allowed to use more languages, we would try to cram them on there, but it's usually stipulated by contract, we can only do one. I wanted to make sure I answered that for you. So you saw me popping it up, note that. I thought I was only sharing PowerPoint. I was sharing the whole screen. What else? Let's see. Spans are still asking about distribution in Canada. I know that the bosses are watching this stream, so bosses, please look at the distribution in Canada.
Yep. Some people asking for Kodocha updates. It's coming. It's on the pile. It's being worked on.
Yeah, that's all.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work to do that one right.
Yeah, SDVDs in general are a lot of work because there's just so much on there. It's crazy.
Well, I mean, also, you think about a show like Kodocha, which is akin to Bobobo, which is a million things being said or signs or whatever, and like, you have to do that multiplied out by like 1 billion episodes, and it's a lot. It's just a lot of work. And then, because like the subtitles are still like, even though they're lower resolution, they're still the same complexity as an HD show, which is shorter. You know, so it's like a lot of work.
Well, the series on Blu-ray will not contain the Philippines English dub. I love all of those Questor International dubs from the Philippines, but those are actually held, the copyright with those actually lives with that company, Telus Success Productions in the Philippines. So
We tried to get it.
Yeah.
They said no.
Yeah, they said no thanks. So, yeah, so when we license those shows from Japan, those particular shows don't include that particular dub version. It's too bad.
Some people are asking if there's more tokusatsu plans. Yes, but none that we're ready to announce yet.
All right.
Keep buying tokusatsu to ensure that there's a market for it. And,
All right.
more.
Yeah, there is something in the pipeline, isn't there? Yeah, that's interesting. Oh, well, I guess we're just going to have to dangle the possibility. Sorry, everyone.
Yep. Yep. No, there's definitely something coming. I just can't say what.
Yeah. And how's Symphogear doing? Well, every time, we've done those first 2 seasons of Symphogear, and those have gone into the Right Stuff Top 10.
Right.
The Symphogear fans are very loyal and very enthusiastic, and I'm one of them. And seems to be doing pretty good. Hopefully, knock on wood, we can do more something for right now in season 1 and 2.
Rosa Versailles extras. The first Blu-ray has the first episode preview, the creditless opening and ending. The second one has an art gallery. There's the thing is like we were alluding to, there's a lot, like for that title specifically, there's a lot of approvals. So we weren't able to pack it in as much as we wanted to. Like originally, I think we wanted to do a couple like fan commentaries and stuff like that because it's such a classic show, but we weren't able to do anything like that because it would have astronomically risen the amount of time it would have taken to approve everything for it.
Let's see.
Yeah, Montpellier Nights does not include the 30-minute theatrical film. It's a separate license.
Yep, our rights did not include it.
Do you listen to anything as background on this music? Yeah, I listen to like 80s music and like stuff that Justin shows me sometimes. Like I listen to a lot of 80s.
I'm really into the synthwave scene. What is Discotek's all-time best-selling release? Well, obviously it's the Miyazaki one.
Yeah.
that one's no secret. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember asked one time what was the bestseller outside of that one, but I don't remember what it is, unfortunately.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of really granular sales data, so we appreciate the interest in it, but we can't answer a lot of those questions. Let's see what else.
What would be Discotheque Essentials? Of course, it would have to be.
Are we really at a point where we can do essentials?
We do have a lot of essentials.
Come on now, Charge Man Ken, that's a Discotheque Essential.
Yeah, if we did something like that, it'd have to be a troll.
Well, I mean, literally, those are released as the Discotheque Classics collection. If you look on the box for Charge Man and what is it, Astro Gamer, they're Discotheque Classics.
Someone's asking if we're going to do more 4K Blu-rays. Yes, eventually. They are very hard. Castle Cagliostro almost killed us, so they take a lot of effort. In fact, I'm just exporting one right now as we speak in the format that I needed to encode to a 4K Blu-ray, and that export is estimated time 1 day, 19 hours. So, yeah, that few and far between, guys.
There are no Lupin announcements. People keep asking for like a 9 million different Lupin things. We have no Lupin announcements.
People keep asking about titles that we already said we can't talk about. So sorry guys, we can't talk about those.
Well, this happens every time, fellas.
Yeah.
Enthusiastic fans can't help themselves. They gotta throw that question in there.
I'm saying this mostly so they don't waste their bits asking the license question.
Yeah.
That's actual real money they're spending, so I don't want them to waste.
That's an interesting question. Gerald asked about the audio drama that was included with the Devilman OVA release and about more extras like that. That's a special case because usually audio dramas like that aren't included in the licensing package. When they are, we'll try to do something with it. But that's usually something that you have to go out of your way to get. So that's why you don't see that too often.
Why is this media so awesome? Because we're crazy.
Yeah, usually awesome people have lost a few screws, and let's just say if you shake us, we make a rattling sound.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Why is the company called Discotheque? That's a good
question. I don't know. I've never heard that story.
Me neither. That's one we have to learn. That's one we have to ask about.
Please give us Golden Boy on Blu-ray. Well, there's not a high-definition master for that one yet, is there?
No.
Yeah.
Hopefully someday, but...
Hopefully someday. That's one of those titles that, I don't have sales data, but I believe that's like an evergreen, always sells well for us.
Oh, yeah.
And,
the unfortunate thing is the old masters are really badly frame blended and stuff, so it's not...
we can't even upscale those. They
can't rescue
rough.
what's existing. Yeah, it would have to be rescanned. But yeah, I mean, and also, little known detail, the original voice of Golden Boy, Doug Smith, he's still a working graphic designer, and he still does projects for Discotheque. So Golden Boy is still doing his work behind the scenes. Study.
Nice.
Yep. Some people are asking, darn it, I lost it. Oh. Yeah, here it is. The ACO soundtrack. We do not have the rights to the ACO soundtrack, and soundtrack rights are not something that we want to get into at this time. So, alas, no. Music rights are kind of tough anyway, because now that everything is digital and, CDs are barely a thing, and then vinyl has its own challenges. It's not really something we're pursuing at this time. Vinyl is also kind of pretty bad for the environment.
You have to get individual permission to use fan recordings. Yeah, that's something. Anything would have to be approved by the licensor, and that's not always an easy thing to do.
Whenever we work on a title, when we send the packaging, we send up a list of here are the things we want to do, or here are the things that we want to include. And usually the licensor will be like, okay, cool, or no, you can't do that. And that's how we sort of work.
Someone's asking what it takes to do a 4K Blu-ray. Well, the software upgrade was $17,000. The equipment upgrade was about $15,000, and I could still do more. And it requires the high-end graphics cards that are virtually, those are unobtainium right now. So it takes a lot.
I love that it's $17,000 and that it like allows for less features.
Well, that's just the format. So
Yeah,
the
the format.
hardware software, yeah. But
Yeah.
actually, someone was asking about SD on 4K Blu-ray because there's a lot. It actually does not allow SD at all. There's no SD allowed on a 4K Blu-ray. In fact, you can't even have 1080i interlaced video on 4K Blu-ray. It's oddly locked down.
We had to upscale our SD extras from Castle Cagliostro to like 1080p 60 or something like that, right?
Yep. I had to double the frame rate.
Yeah, I saw someone ask if why God Bless Dan Kuga OVA was not included in our set. Once again, it's that question. It was a separate license.
From a separate licensor.
Yeah, it's a completely separate company. Something we've had to answer. Yeah, that's one of those frustrating situations. So we're not to getting the Kiss X deal done. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's
I mean, never heard.
It's been a while,
Yeah, I was going to say,
know.
speaking of something that flew off the shelves on its release date, yeah.
Okay, since this keeps coming up in the chat, I'll say this one. So we have no news about anything Sonic X. Please stop asking about Sonic X.
Keep asking.
Watch this space.
Keep asking. And I see that there's a lot of people asking if they can come work for us, including someone who offered legal services. That's interesting.
Crazier things have happened. If you can work and you can actually do stuff. You have something we need to be. If you have something that a skill that we need.
Oh, I like this question. How do you see Discotheque in 10 years from now? I think home video is still going to be around, but it's going to be even more exclusive and rarefied. So I think most of home video releases in 10 years they're going to be like down to like numbered releases, limited numbered releases, and you're going to see movies and specials more than you're going to see TV series getting pumped out on video.
I mean, I think SDBD has helped a lot.
That's true.
Because like a lot of those shows that are on SDBD would just be like.
It'd be kind of unreleasable now if that format didn't exist.
Yeah.
Right, because like a show like Bobobo, even if we could deinterlace that and upscale it and everything, like it would be so expensive to sell that show. Like it would just cost too much to offer it on Blu-ray because there's so many episodes. And like being able to do it on 2 discs is cost effective. You get about as good a quality as an upscale, and it actually works out more fairly. So I think SDBD has helped the life of anime on Blu-ray quite a bit.
Would we re-release Mad Bull 34? That's yet another one. There would have to be a high definition master.
Well, we lost the rights to that anyway,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I think there's something in Japan with that.
There's
that
something going on
license.
there because to get a little inside baseball, I think they did not offer it to us again or something like that. It's off the table for the time being.
I'm really curious, what was it like to put Robot Carnival on Blu-ray, especially anything involving Studio APT who had been a bit under the radar while compared to before in the mid-2000s. That was one of the, like Justin and I, like, where we sort of like teamed up and did so many crazy things. I mean, APP were great too. They pretty much gave us carte blanche. I think they were just, like, so long as they got paid, I don't think they really cared.
No adult supervision.
Yeah.
Yes, I did notice the reference to the wolves from Polar Forest, Prince of the Sun in Aria, because that shot of the Hulse fighting with the wolves by Yoichi Kotabe is one of the most famous anime scenes from that era. And something a lot of people don't realize, that incredibly raw primal animation of a kid fighting off wolves with an axe, that was done by the artist, largely uncorrected work by the artist who would later design the adorable Super Mario Brothers characters.
Oh, wow.
Same guy, yep. Yeah, Shigeru Miyamoto did the original drawings, but the refined drawings that eventually became the regular models were by Kotabe. So that's a pretty decent trivia.
Let's see.
our schedule is so packed. Yeah, I don't see anything happening with Blue Sub 6 anytime soon. The DVD is really good though. The most recent DVD we did was actually really pretty strong.
Yeah, we really can't, there were a couple of swear words cut out of the Blu-ray, but it's really not that bad a disc. I mean, the upscale is kind of questionable, so if we ever redid it, we'd want to redo the upscale.
Well, that's the thing. Like that would be the only real reason to redo it. Like it's not like redoing it just for that dub track. Yeah, I mean, like the DVDs are really like high bit rate and good. So like, I would just keep the DVD for now.
Lots of questions we can't answer. Would you operate a manga branch? I don't think that we've ever seriously discussed that.
There's so much that goes into that.
Yeah, no.
As somebody who's worked on that stuff before, it's tedious. Like it's about as tedious as doing subtitles, and
it's a crowded ass market too. Like
yeah.
It's really tough to survive as an indie.
Well, yeah, and also the thing is like the involvement of printing is so much higher because you're printing so many different pages, and so like it's one thing to print-proof a package and make sure the color is all correct and all that, but imagine when you're printing, like even in black and white, there are easy ways to screw up things. And printing something with a lot of pages is just a horror. And as somebody who worked in print for many, many years, I personally wouldn't want to take that on.
Jeff B is asking if we ever see a time when DVDs will be all discontinued for good and Discotheque will be 100% Blu-ray. Not for a long time, because we're not doing any new releases, but we have so many DVDs in the warehouse.
Yeah, I was gonna say, there's still stuff that, there's still plenty of stock. I did see someone say, okay, so Mike, what's the most terrifying thing about homeownership? I'll tell you what, it's the $10,000 repair estimate for the roof I got last week. That's the scariest thing.
I was lucky, my insurance covered my roof, they just replaced it.
Yeah, this was the result of shoddy work a few years ago, not a specific natural event. The upside is we're splitting the cost with the other owners since we have a shared building, and it's if we need to, we can finance it over the course of the year. It's not going to be that hard of a whack. It's one of those things where we better fix that now, or it's going to be even worse later. But that's the joy of home ownership, man. Suddenly you're the landlord and have to fix everything.
Yep, my hot water here doesn't work right now, so yeah.
Ooh, dead of winter. I'm gonna have to pay $3,500 for electrical work this week.
Yep, that is how it be. Digital copies with Blu-ray releases. That's a whole different angle of the market that we've never really tapped into. And I'm also just like I'm one of those renegades that's just like oh yeah, you can have a digital copy, and I'm just like, well, Blu-ray already is a digital copy. It's just on a disc. I'm not going to tell you how to get the digital copy off the disc, but there are ways to do that.
I use the Maker Studio ones, but those are actually really expensive, and it doesn't make sense to do with the quantities that our discs sell. It just doesn't.
Yeah, I was going to say, only Funimation really seemed to have dabbled with that part of the market.
Well, I mean, I think also it's probably easy for Funimation because they're owned by a big company that already does it. So like,
yeah, they have their own streaming service, which is kind of expensive.
Yeah. Will there be a Frasier anime, and will we release it? I wish.
Detective Conan folks are very anxious about how those titles are selling. As a fellow Conan fan, I don't have sales data, but all I can tell you is the plan right now does seem to be focusing on the movies. So keep buying those movies. Tell your friends about the Detective Conan movies. I think they're all terrific. You can watch them and they're one and done. And,
the episode 0 one's pretty cool too.
Oh,
That's a good, and it's a good intro to Conan.
I quite like that one. But there's still some of those coming, and to me that seems to be like that's going to be the focus at least for now.
Or episode 1. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Episode 1.
Episode quote 1.
Yeah. What is the decision-making process on doing an STVD versus an upscale? Usually it can be length. It can also be, will the master even de-interlace at all, period? Because there's like a lot of those early digital shows which are animated in SD, there might be something wrong with them where you just can't deinterlace it. So like you can't really upscale that.
Yeah, Genocyber was like that, but only like some episodes. It was kind of a bummer.
Someone was asking, so in Project ACO, is there going to be a comparison in the special features between the old Laserdisc and the 35mm, like a side-by-side or a split screen? That sounds cool to me.
I don't see how we could resist.
Yeah,
I know.
I mean,
that's going to be so dramatic. You guys have to put that on there.
well, what I really want to do is I want to compare, like, 'cause since we have the old original masters and stuff too, I would love to compare like all the different versions of it, just to say like, here's what it looked like over the last 30 years or whatever, because we have access to that.
We considered doing stuff with audio for visually impaired. If there were existing materials, we'd absolutely include it, but I don't think we've looked at creating those materials.
That is a lot of work to do that.
Yeah, that's
you have to hire someone to do it.
Yeah.
We have for the desk, we have started to include
They could do streaming.
Captions.
captions, yeah, for dub-only shows, we've started to include that.
Yeah, so captions with sound effects and music cues listed.
Have you guys ever considered licensing video games such as PS1 and Sega Saturn? We actually have considered trying to do like an old NES game at one point, but that market is so saturated now by different people like Retrobit or Lunar Games, which are shout out to Lunar guys. Those guys are amazing. That like it's a very hard entry point, and like there is a lot more that can go wrong with like recreating an NES game than there is like anime. So like I don't think we'll do anything like that anytime soon. How did you get the cutscenes? How did you get the cutscenes right? We just asked and they said we could use them.
Kenny Lauderdale, YouTuber extraordinaire, is asking if our Pan Media agreement for Wizard of Oz came with any commercials. No, we never get any commercials. He's looking for something specific.
Oh, okay.
If you see commercials on any of our releases, we've had to dig deep to get them.
We had to go find them. What is he looking for? Like the Nickelodeon promos?
No,
Wizard of Oz. So Wizard
No,
of Oz.
yeah. No, he was looking for Lobby Thunder.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a deep cut.
That is a deep cut. That's one of the Phantom anime.
Yep, doesn't exist. Let's see. Yeah, there's so many questions. Why were the subs for Kash? Oh,
Sorry.
go ahead. Why were the subs for Kashimashi going to go altered as a censorship? No, quite the opposite. The Japanese doesn't have gendered pronouns in the same way that English does, and when it was originally translated, the translator wasn't super careful about it because, you know, at some points the gender of the main character is pretty blurry. So we basically just went over it with a fine-tooth comb and made sure that everything was as it should be.
Yeah, anytime we work on subtitles, it's just to improve the translation. It's not to change.
Censor, that's not a thing.
Yeah. We're not here to hide or obfuscate. We always want to broaden knowledge here.
Obviously, if there's something that's, you know, might upset some people, we'll give them a heads up, but that's all we do.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this is a thing. There you go. Make your own choices.
Any Digipaint movies from the early 2000s in native HD? Depends on what you call native HD. Most of them were not in 1080. Most of them were in something lower and scaled up, but we won't know it because all we have is the scaled version.
Yeah.
I mean, even until recently, a lot of stuff was just 720 upscaled to 1080p.
Yeah. A lot of anime was done at 720, and in the early and mid 2000s, a lot of anime was done at like 540p.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's,
63 live Funimation.
Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. That's one.
Yeah, that was a famous one.
Yep.
That upscaled pronouns.
What's the greatest find Discotek has come across for release beyond Project Aiko's 35mm film? I mean, for me, I think it's probably 1001 Nights dub.
Oh,
right?
yeah, because everyone thought that was lost to the sands of time.
Walker didn't actually exist. Walker didn't exist,
Yeah. Although we've unearthed quite a few, like those Harmony Gold dubs, my God.
that was
The Rare Earth pilot episode, you know, and of course after the fact, there are fans on the internet that say that there were more episodes, stuff like that. So,
well, here's the thing. So, you say that, and there was, okay, so I did the research. I went back and I went to Usenet and I figured this out. So there was a
I was
press
on
release.
Usenet at the time.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, yeah, so was I, but I went back and I found talk about that other rare dub.
Yeah.
And so there was a press release saying that Summit Media, the people who did Pokemon, were going to release 13 episodes of Rare in like I can't remember what year it was, and it listed the production people and it matched the pilot dub. So I went through the credits of the pilot dub because I wanted to be sure about this. I was also just curious about it. And I found the email for the producer of that dub, and I emailed her, and she told me that she does not remember doing more than one episode of it. So I think that's I'm pretty sure that's apocrypha.
Right.
That they did not create, they didn't do the other 12 episodes. They just did the one. I'm pretty sure. According to the person who produced the first one. So.
Let's see. What do you guys snack on while working? I've been trying not to. I've been just, I went a little crazy during the early COVID lockdown, and I've been trying to work off the pounds ever since.
Lately, I've been doing rice crackers. There's a local store that's clearing out a whole lot of Sundays, so I've got a couple of jars of that.
I do almonds. That's like diet almonds. I do almonds usually.
I'm simple and gay and live in Los Angeles. I cannot eat.
What's the difference between Discotheque and Eastern Star? They're just different.
They're just different imprints of the same company.
Imprints, yeah.
Yeah.
I was asking if we ever did a re-release of Captain Harlock, if we would put the Ziv dub on there. That would depend on what our licensor says. Those toy licenses can be really particular about what they allow you to put on the disc. I know that if we were able to, we would absolutely do it, but maybe there was a roadblock there.
There are a bunch of those old dark days of anime dubs that we were specifically told nope, like Galaxy Express, for example, but we weren't allowed to use the Roger Corman dubs.
Yeah, I mean the Roger Corman would take a lot more work. I mean, just to do the Harmony Gold ones, we had to go to Harmony Gold and get their blessing essentially. And they said sure, but we had to get their blessing to do it because that was the requirement from the original licensor. So. It's just if it exists, we just can't throw it on there. There's a lot of equipment that exists that we have to do.
Someone's asking if we got the Sergeant Frog movies. Not yet. See how well the series does.
Like an upscaled HD Blu-ray.
Is IGPX another anime with no HD possibility? So I'm not quite working on that, but I do know that Jose at Warner, or Bunny Jose, is trying to see if those exist or not. He's trying to figure that out. So we have no idea if those exist now or not. But I know he's trying to figure it out.
Still working hard on it.
Someone was asking about printed material like the art cards that came with Giant Robo and Ginray. I mean, those require another round of approvals, and they require a little bit more money.
Yeah,
so
and
for something that we think is going to do well, or we're really into.
Yeah, I mean, so when I do those, usually I'll just comp them out. So they're not that hard to comp out, and I'll send them to the, Mr. Discotheque, and if he wants to include them, he can, or he can't. Like, it's all costs, right? And
it's all about, do you want that extra, 50 cents a dollar, whatever the printed costs and the packing costs would be per unit.
Did the Space Adventure Cobra 4K do well? Well, we're doing more 4K discs, slowly.
Alright.
Will there be more Twitch screenings like Memories? We're definitely looking into it. We want to do some events online, because they're a lot of fun.
Yeah, so it's being discussed. I mean, goodness, it's almost 11 and we're still here.
Do we want to? Yeah. Good point. Ever see a Blu-ray release of Captain Ningen Tayandi, aka Samurai Pizza Cats? I doubt it. The Japanese remaster was pretty recent, but it's an SD.
yeah, unless they were to do.
And that's the Japanese version. The problem with Samurai Pizza Cats is that was mastered on videotape, so that remastering it would involve getting all of the footage from a new HD scan and then matching it to the dub version, which that's not a clean sync. You'd have to go through it step by step.
No, well, it's literally not possible because it was from that era where they were using an automated trim down process.
Oh, that's
so
right. Yeah.
Literally every cut would have to be done. Like it's just not worth it. Yeah.
I mean, it's the automated trim down process. To give you an idea, Saban had a thing which essentially would go through an episode, and at every scene change, it would trim one frame down so it could get more commercial time. It's very like insidious in a way how they try to cram in more commercials, but it makes remastering these a lot harder. Like Grimm's Fairy Tales was not that bad, right? Like it because it was
predates that system. There were some alterations, but not a ton.
Yeah, but like Pizza Cats literally does not sync up like it's like scene to scene. It would take a lot of work.
I tried to recut episode 1, and after about 9 hours, I gave up and told the boss man it wasn't happening.
It just makes you cry, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying it would never ever happen, but it would. It's like the chances are zero, like so close to zero.
So someone saying this is why Melancholy Nights can't be recut? Yes, this is why Melancholy Nights cannot be
This
recut.
is why we've just had to be relentless about trying to find those tapes and keep those fingers crossed. Someone was asking if about the possibility of releasing Lupin stuff that was DVD only. We don't have anything on the schedule right now, but if there is a high definition version, like there was a Blu-ray release in Japan, that makes it more likely.
So here's how we sort of operate on Lupin.
TV special.
If it's been released on DVD already, we are trying to release the stuff that has not been released first, and then once we get through all that stuff, then we'll consider going back to the stuff we released on DVD.
All right.
That stuff that has not been released is dwindling very quickly.
I was going to say, we're down to about, I think, 8 or 9 releases that have not been done in English.
Yeah, you're saying it's not that much, but you're not the person who has to do it.
I am, though. Eventually it all comes down to me.
Yeah, but you don't have the hard part. You have like the part where it's all together, and then you're like, I'm Mr. Programmer, man, I have to do this, and then you don't have to.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I have other waking nightmares to crawl into and cry.
Yes.
Black Rock Shooter TV, that release does not include the OVA episodes. It's just the TV.
Correct. Just TV, and there's some neat pictures, but no other movies or anything.
I really found the third release in a single box set. That's terrifying to contemplate.
I wouldn't want to design that package.
You'd have to sell it wrapped up in like a real life-size blue jacket, green jacket, red jacket. Oh yeah, you could make a jacket, every color jacket, and all the super fans would have to buy all 4 of them.
We can't really go into specifics about finding the Grimm's U-Matics, but maybe at a later date.
Brady knows my job is not set and forget it. He knows I work hard.
No, Justin honestly works super hard. I've seen just that big order thing just blows my mind. But like,
blew everyone's mind. That screenshot went viral.
But I mean, to be serious, there's a lot of like Justin and I do a lot of planning ahead of time for release and figure out like how should this work, how complicated should the disc be and all that. It's just that the Lupin specials, we've got that down to like a template at this point. So like it's very, like those ones in specific are very like we just crank them out at this point because we know how to do it. We've done it so many times.
Yeah. Someone's asking my favorite flavor of tea, and I just got this Paris breakfast tea. It's this really like hoity-toity brand, but it's so good. It's like English breakfast with a hint of orange.
And someone asking if it was Toei who prevented Voltus 5 dub episodes from being included. No, that was the licensor in the Philippines who said no thanks.
Yeah. Don't know why, but
yeah, as a completely blind random guess, I believe that licensor in the Philippines has something tied up with this new Voltus 5 live action series. They probably just didn't want to do any extra work. They were waiting for this project. It's unfortunate. Like I said, I love that dub. It's kind of kitschy and weird, but it really grows on me.
Roman Execution asking if the Justin on here is a robot clone, or is the clone working on more Blu-rays? I will never tell you if I'm a clone. If I'm a clone, I'm so well built that, I'm still an asshole.
it's only high tones there, so I was going to make things up.
Gona Gatai has been patiently asking for Daimos news over and over. Hey, it's on the calendar. I don't think we have a firm release date, but I'm pretty sure that's going to be this year, right? That's probably going to be.
Oh, it's coming up. It's coming up soon. It's coming up soon.
Coming up soon. Okay, yeah. So, sorry we weren't ignoring you. It's just we keep getting all these other questions.
Do you guys still have about 3 years worth of licenses to work through? Yes.
Yep. They keep growing. They're like the cables in your drawer. They just keep multiplying.
Are you working on any new dubs now? In fact, we are. Can't say what it is. It's a really cool one, but we are, yes.
You will be your
talking
pants.
you weren't talking about the Philippines multi-5 dub. Well, the only other dub that I'm aware of is the Frontier Productions one, and that was of the movie, which was not included in our license.
Any further plans for international streaming, like with Cagliostro and Netflix? Well, actually, here's the thing. All of the Lupin titles we don't stream. Those are through TMS, the owners. We just do home video for Lupin. Anything TMS is just home video for us. The only Lupin we have we have streaming for is the Treasure of the Gold of Babylon, which is not owned by TMS distribution-wise. That's a different company. So that's why we have streaming there. But otherwise, all Lupin streaming and all TMS streaming is done by TMS themselves.
I don't
Has
know.
anyone ever approached Discotek for a documentary? Well, that'd be a really boring documentary because it's just us at a computer and you have to blur out the screens.
Yeah. I would have to put better pants than pajama pants on.
All right, fellas, it is coming up on 11 o'clock. You think it's about
Yeah, it's getting late.
time on this? Want to do one more question? Either of you two?
Have you guys watched that ACO film reel on the projector you own? First of all, it's a negative. Second of all, no. That you would never, ever put a master element through a projector. That beats the crap out of the film. Stop. No.
Plus, I think it's in Japan anyway. It's not here.
Yeah, that was, if you work with international film restoration, you will learn very quickly that the master film does not leave the lab where it's stored for any reason. You're not getting that, it's not going to get shipped over. We'll scan it in. All right, are we done? Did we do it?
I think we're done.
All right, well,
All right.
geez, still over 700 people watching us talk nonsense. Well, thanks so much for coming and joining us for our big Project ACO announcement, for our latest round of licensing announcements. We appreciate you guys so much. We're hoping that this widening pathway of vaccinations means that maybe we can see you in the late summer, fall, winter, somewhere down the road soon.
Yep. Hopefully.
But until then, you can please order your favorite Discotheque releases from our retail partners. Check out stuff on streaming. Keep watching and loving an anime, and we'll keep making it for you as fast as we can. Have a great day.
Thank you for joining us. Have a good night.